Got a little something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good intro to the live stream. Hello, everybody.
Bleh.
Bleh.
Bleh to you.
Bleh.
I am both a vampire and a vomiter.
I'm a nauseous vampire.
I'm a vampire. Got him.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to BMFcast. Hey, BMFcast number 1.
561 live stream. There it is.
Hey. We got the
Audio?
Got the audio. Yes or no? Yes.
I don't know.
Do we have the correct title? Sounds like we got audio.
Yep.
We're perfect. Okay. Perfect.
Are perfect.
Word perfect?
Pluperfect.
I'll put this on Twitter while I still can.
Yeah. Oh, man. That, my face looks like a face. I've got a...
Congratulations.
I don't
Look
look,
at this face.
I don't look like a pale nerd, is what I'm trying to say.
You have color.
Correct.
Or color,
Color.
if you prefer throwing a British U in there.
Red? Will red look good today? Let's see.
Red's never a good look.
Oh,
You should know that.
That horror wore red.
Both in terms of communism and politics. Which is also politics. So, all politics.
Oh, red looks
red
okay.
is a bad
I
thing.
look all right with red.
Tweet. Oh, it doesn't matter. No one retweets anymore.
All right.
I'll retweet.
So
this
is Tweeter is Tweeter like
Hey,
dead?
what's going
is
on
it,
with
is
them
it, is it getting like dead now? I mean, are like people jumping
The wheels
ship
are
or
going to come
whatever?
off any second.
Well,
Well,
I mean-
they last week they lost like 1 million
Employees.
accounts.
Oh, so people were just bailing.
Fucking bailing, yeah.
I've lost 100 people off of my subscribers.
Well, that's Elon Musk finally getting rid of the bots.
Yeah,
you
I
see.
know.
Oh.
I know. I had lots of bots following
Yeah,
me.
of course.
Lots of bots. Bots.
So he wants the cars to drive themselves, but not Twitter.
Correct.
Okay, just trying to make sure. I
Humans
understand.
on socials
Yeah,
while your car drives itself.
right. Oh, I see. So get the bots off Twitter so that we can be on Twitter while the cars are driving
Put
themselves.
more bots
Correct.
in the car
I see. Just
to
be like,
drive you.
I'm in a car. It's driving itself. Lol.
Yes.
Hashtag Elon.
Lulz.
It's
Hashtag-
that whole scene from Parks and Rec where Tom is in the courtroom and they're reading his tweets as he's
Oh, yeah.
as he's driving. Parks and Rec is amazing.
It's a good show. Literally. A good show.
Yes.
Stop.
I still
You
think
majestic land mermaid.
I think I have to say, just because of its encapsulation, that the fact that it was like conceived and executed all in like one fell swoop, I would have to say The Good Place is probably the best sitcom of all time. I just think because it's like it's so.
I mean,
I
it
mean,
does.
it's really good, and it's like it has.
What
a
is it, like 6 seasons and stuck the landing?
Like 3 seasons. It's
it
like
3
Yeah,
seasons?
it's really,
Wow.
or maybe 4. It's short.
4 seasons. I think it's
Yeah.
4 seasons and it stuck the landing.
Yeah.
That's one of the best.
I just mean like it's
Told a
it's-
narrative story
yeah.
beginning to end.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just like, so many other sitcoms is like, yeah, that's really good, but then there's this time where they just dicked around and didn't have a plan, or, like Friends or Seinfeld or anything. It's just like, yeah, those are good, but there were just times where they're just spinning their wheels and then have a real
Yeah.
idea or anything.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that my Twitter display name is Terrence Glissando Esquire.
I saw it the other day when you retweeted something. I was like, I wonder if he knows that he's still called that.
I did not know until
Why was this? I don't remember what Terrence.
we were talking about stupid names.
Yeah.
I think it was on this very podcast.
Might have been.
And maybe it started from talking about Toast of London, which is fucking hilarious. But yeah, stupid display names, and I changed mine. I think it was after I had some holiday one for way too long, and I was like, I'm just going to change it back to Terrence Glissando like 6 months ago. But then I noticed today, because I was looking up, I was watching the spacewalk, and I wanted to say nice things to the astronauts. So I found the woman that was doing the mission control. she was doing the communication back and forth to the
Yeah.
astronauts, and I was like, did a great job with the, with Frank and Josh, which are their actual names.
I'm sure that's just what she needed was a man telling her that she was doing a good job.
Yeah.
I was
I-
well. She
I'm-
needed. She
No, I'm
needed
being an
Terrence
asshole.
Cle- she
No, I'm being
needed
an
Terrence
asshole
Cle-
because,
I
like,
know.
you're trying to do something nice and anyone can turn it into,
Yeah.
like,
Well, fuck you.
But I was like, yeah,
Right.
great job. Blah 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 blah. And then I sent it, and then it popped up in my feed, my own tweet, and I saw Terrence Glissando Esquire, and I was like, man,
Shit. Now I look like an idiot.
nah, yeah, like
They're not going to read this.
did they?
if there was ever a hope of getting a response,
Yeah.
all hopes were dashed by Terrence Glissando.
I mean,
This guy's not serious.
Exactly. Yeah, no response yet.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a obtuse enough name that it's not funny enough that it's like it's
Yeah,
not.
but somebody's gonna look at Terrence Glissando and
I
be
know
like,
it's a funny name, but it's not like I don't know. It's like like hug my balls or something.
right.
Terrence hug my balls.
That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
it's a name that puts you off, but not enough to make you report it.
Yeah.
Like this guy,
Yeah.
he's not serious.
It's like,
That's
is that
not
really someone's
offensive,
name?
but-
Like,
Eh.
and he's a junior or
Esquire,
Yes,
Esquire,
he-
sorry.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm a
he's
lawyer.
Fucking
Junior-
fancy as shit.
Sorry. Terry G. Senior
Yeah.
decided this name was worth passing on.
Well, T-Gliss, as they call him.
Teagless.
Yeah.
Those episodes of Charlie's Angels.
That's one of my
without
favorites.
shell
That's
teeth.
that's one of my favorite Vulcans is Teakless.
Yes, Teagless.
Yeah.
T apostrophe gliss.
Yeah.
T-Gliss.
I like when they put the blue goo all over Teakless.
Hello, Curtis and Cal.
Oh, yeah.
It has been a long time since you have caught a stream. It's nice to have you here.
Is that why you like Enterprise? Because it's got super hot lady on it. I mean, it's not. I mean, until the last season, it's not a good show.
I like Enterprise. It's been a long road.
I
And
mean,
Matthew?
Jolene Blaylock is maybe one of the prettiest ladies who's ever been in a Star Trek. But I'm saying, like, besides that last season, it's
She's
not a
very
good
pretty, but she has fake Vulcan hooters, and I don't like that.
show. Okay,
Vooters, as they're called.
it's highly illogical for a Vulcan to get implants.
Yes. Why would a Vulcan? Why would a Vulcan get breast
Yeah.
implants? What does God
what
need
does
with a
what does a
Starship?
Vulcan need with giant hooters?
Like,
And
logic
what's
dictates.
the deal with these transporters?
Logic-
They're off, they're on, they're off, they're on.
Logic would suggest your breasts are fine. You don't need to do that, ma'am. Vulcan,
You know,
ma'am.
Matthew, if you're looking at the keywords, they are slightly misleading.
Well,
Slightly. It's not,
We'll talk about it.
yeah.
Stay tuned.
We might talk about it first.
Sure, it might come up.
we started the movie with a caveat, so why not the podcast?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to BMFcast.
I should stop using the Latin. I don't know if people know.
It's a dead language.
It
Which
is.
which Latin?
Well, the caveat. Don't say caveat.
No, you can say caveat.
Yeah, all right.
If anybody looks at you like you're wearing a jacket made of turds, then look
know.
at them like they are wearing a jacket made of turds.
Jacket. made
I
of
like that
turds.
shirt, by the way. Speaking of jackets,
Thanks.
sharp.
It is. It is a sharp
It's
shirt.
got a little pink in it.
Yeah.
Makes a pop.
Really makes my taco pop.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Like tapatio or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, it was Ortega sauce.
Was it
But
Ortega?
yeah,
No.
it was an Ortega.
Was it?
But I
Okay.
don't remember. It was an Olympic
It was-
gymnast. I don't know what her name was.
Yeah, it wasn't Carrie Strug.
Yeah, no. That would just
Look
be
that up.
extra wrong somehow.
Makes my taco pop. I can't believe I'm... Sean Johnson. Shawnee Johnson.
Sean Johnson.
Sean Johnson.
That's a okay.
Sean Johnson. Taco Pop.
Makes my taco pop.
And it was Ortega. Good memory.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
love to see that with like.
I mean, we used to eat Ortega, like make tacos
Yeah.
at home thing all the time. So like, it was one of those like it stuck in my head. Like I know this brand, and therefore that is a funny, and no one went through on a second pass and went ah. Yeah. I'm just saying, like every ad agency needs
Everything.
every ad agency needs a perv in the room just to go like, this might be misconstrued.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're hiring,
Yeah.
both Harlow and I need jobs.
Yeah. I'm creative and pervy.
I'm just pervy.
I'm creatively pervy.
But the depths of my perverse knowledge are mighty. So
Yes. I mean, I would love to be one of those ad wizards that came up with
that one.
Yeah. But not that. I mean, I would come up with something better, like Porque no los dos. Which that's a fucking great commercial. Also, maybe Ortega. I don't know. One of those make your tacos at home things. Anyway, let's talk about some aliens and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, before we get into a Todos on Burritos conversation.
Oh, that's the dream.
Let's make this podcast pop.
Mm-hmm.
Pop. Pop screen. Pop it. Poppity pop.
Bop it, twist it, flip it, reverse it.
All right, welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey, BMFcast.
BMFcast.
All right.
Yeah.
Episode 561.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It is. It really
So
is.
nice. I'm Harlow.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And what we do each and every episode of this here BMFcast is we go and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Then we come in here and talk about it. Then good bad movies and enjoyable bad movies. They get a rating of 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot jocks.
That is correct.
Yeah. However, there are bad movies, as in Stay Away.
Yes.
They get a negative sliding scale, 1 to 5 bags,
All
as in
right.
giant bags of trash.
Yeah, I get that. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. Good system.
Yeah.
It's logical.
See, negative
Glad I
sliding,
came up with
just you know, like 1, it's like golf. You know, like 5 bags is really bad. You
Right.
understand? Like 1, not so bad.
Right. So they're
It's
like
negative sliding.
So
That's
they're
how that
bogeys,
works.
is what you're saying.
Um,
Bags are bogeys.
Sure. Like bad guys when you're flying a plane, or
Yes.
or
Humphreys.
Humphreys.
None of those.
Okay.
None of those.
All right.
Sports talk, everybody.
Oh, like a birdie and an eagle. I gotcha. That kind of bogey.
Yeah.
A golf thing.
Right.
The more numbers, the more.
I did mention golf and then pretend like I didn't know what golf was, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
That bit doesn't work.
Yes. I was like, you introduced this.
Yeah,
It's the only reason
sorry.
I'm saying bogey, you
Yes.
son of a bitch.
I apologize.
Okay,
Anyway,
thank you.
The higher number, the higher intensity. Good
that's
or
true.
bad.
Yes. All that being overly explained, our movie this week is 1985's Alien Warrior.
It is.
Yeah, it sure is.
Nobody's ever seen Alien Warrior.
It's a thing. It's a Vestron video special, from back in the day. I mean, if you lived in the 80s, you've seen this logo, and it usually preceded some bullshit shot on film.
Correct.
But I'm just saying, like, it was like some cheap ass, like,
It's not the highest quality
Right,
stuff,
right,
especially in 1985.
right. So I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. It's right up in our wheelhouse and up our alley or up our wheelhouse or something.
We watch bad movies.
Yeah, we do.
A good bad movie.
Yeah,
is
and what we do
enjoyable.
each and
Bad
every
movies
week
is
is-
right.
Five Jocks and Robot Jocks.
Robot Jock.
Yeah.
Bad movies, as in Stay Away.
Right.
No,
it's
no,
like
no.
golf. Do you understand?
Yeah, they get
Also-
bogeys.
Bogeys.
It's like a
Yeah.
rabbit, but then later a golf. And now it's car stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Anywho, yes, this is a low budget movie about like
Really?
alien.
I couldn't tell.
Alien comes to Earth and rights wrongs.
Fights great evil.
Fights great evil.
He's coming to destroy the great evil.
Great
coming
evil.
to specifically like one neighborhood of Los Angeles.
Yes.
And before we get too deep into it, as we started the actual movie with a bit of a caveat,
Right.
we should probably not really start the podcast, but 5 minutes in, explain
Sure.
that normally we look for certain keywords.
Yes.
on the-
All
on-
movies are screened for a particular keyword, which is something we don't like to watch
Yes.
in our movies.
It needs to be said. It's rape. I mean, we
Right.
do not like to see forced rape. I mean, it should not. I mean, it's not comfortable to watch for anybody.
It's
don't
just
think.
not fun sitting with your buddies watch
And-
that happen.
And also, I mean, it's a lazy plot device of 70s and 80s movies
Yeah.
where women were just foils, and
It's- it's just unpleasant, and oftentimes is in movies for no good reason except to be exploitative.
Right.
And so the movies are screened to make sure that keyword doesn't exist. However, as we've come to find out of late, the IMDb will flat out lie to you because it is a user-generated content website, and so anybody can put whatever the fuck they want on there. So when we get a movie that has that keyword, I put it on a list, and then when I have free time, I will check out the movies on the list and see if it's true or not. It was mostly true for this one.
Although, to be fair to this movie, it's
it's menace leading. I mean, like the actual
Right.
act never occurs. I don't
Correct.
think at any
No,
point.
it does not.
And
It is all attempted.
it is always thwarted by our hero
buddy.
or somebody.
Buddy.
Our hero Buddy, the
Buddy.
bearded buddy.
So
This is a buddies movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
Space Wolfman Jack, basically. I mean, he's a beardy, but like
He's also got a little Robert Zadar, like young Robert Zadar to him.
he does. Like before his face really got expansive,
Yeah.
like the beard adds to this man's face a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like when I grow my beard out, it doesn't grow down; it just grows
No,
out,
I
and
mean-
so I get very.
yeah.
cheeky.
This guy is
You're
almost
always
like
shaky.
Yeah.
growing a white man's Blackula beard. Because I mean, just saying, like his whole face is like practically
White
hair.
man's Blackula.
I'm just saying, like it's. I didn't want to just say he's growing
We are
a
the
Blackula.
white man's Blackula.
I would like to think of ourselves as the white man's Blackula, but I mean, like it is his whole face. It's like his beard is kind of his entire face. Like his eyebrows are almost.
They're
part
way
of
up the cheek.
Yeah.
His hair's way up the
Yeah.
cheekbones.
So I mean, I'm just saying it is a very Wolfman Jack is a bit of a dated reference, but maybe brought back by the Weird Al.
It's
sister
it's
movie.
back in the modern vernacular.
Jesus.
There people are
Back
now
in the zeitgeist.
people are now researching Wolfman Jack.
It's like who is Jack Black playing?
What
here?
is this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when the movie was over, when I'd finished screening it, I was like, yeah, that keyword's accurate, but holy shit, the guys need to see this.
Yeah.
Get in here.
Yeah. I mean, before we go, I mean, if we could even go plot by plot, because it's really just it's a series of.
Unexplainable events.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's a series of like justice vignettes, because it's just
Pretty much,
like
yeah.
here's some crime happening, and then our hero will have kind of a sense and generally stop it.
Sure.
So I mean, it's yeah. But to set it up, I mean, it's a little bit. It's got like kind of like that Xanadu Apple Star Crash vibe where space is
Cool.
well, space is cool, but
Fucking
also
awesome.
sort of like
Heaven.
mystical.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
Magical.
yeah, magical. Like it's like like beyond
hippie crystal
yeah,
bullshit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. It's like you're just need some purple robes and black Nikes, and you pretty much got their version of space here.
Yeah.
So.
Because I mean, like the story is set up like so. This dude's dad, who's a space wizard, is like, your brother died and didn't complete his mission. You gotta go do it. And he's like, okay.
I actually feel like it was his idea. He was like, son, you're going to be a leader. And he's like, in order to be a leader, I must go face great evil. And,
Right.
and the dad's like, yeah, sure, I guess.
Sure. I mean, it was not
I mean,
really.
it'll get you out of my hair for a little bit, and puns intended.
I also appreciate this dad just stays there the whole time waiting for his son to come home. But
He's got to
yeah,
let him do it himself.
he gives him like a slideshow. He's like, here's Earth. Here's where your brother went. It's a weird place. Good luck, I guess.
Full of evil. Or
Here, we're
potential
gonna-
evil, I guess.
We're going to do a laser light show on your chest and send you to Earth now.
Yeah, he gets kind of like a Mobius loop, infinity symbol
Yeah.
sort of floating in his chest and his head.
and his face.
Yeah.
And then he rockets to Earth and crashes in a parking lot and explodes.
Yep, right next to homeless dude who's got a little fire going in an 8 o'clock coffee can.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, same actor as his dad.
I noticed that on in the credits,
Yeah.
which were very hard to read.
Hot trivia for you.
Interesting.
But yeah, he's like,
I mean, it's very Terminator-esque because
Oh, yeah,
he
'cause
arrives on a fireball, he's butt-ass naked, and there's a homeless guy, and he walks up to him, and you might as well say, I need your boots, your clothes, and your dog, and your coffee fire.
but he basically just says, hello, friend.
yeah.
And he's like, the homeless
Anyway,
guy's like,
later, and he's like, dude, you're going to freeze your Jim Jams
Num-nums off.
Num-nums. I
Yub
don't know. It was
nubs, yeah.
Yub nubs.
something that is not said by any adult human anywhere on the planet, but he said num-nums or something. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, right. So the hobo gives him jeans and a jacket. And he's like, cool. Time to walk the earth. And
Yeah, I mean, at first he's just kind of wandering around, very alien Terminator like where is the evil? And everyone's like, the fuck is wrong with you? And then
we're immediately introduced to Mr. One,
Mhm.
who rolls up in his car. BJ, please explain the car for our folks at home.
it's an
This is
Excalibur.
a 1980
Uh-huh.
Excalibur Series 4 Phaeton.
Okay.
And it is a car that was built, I believe it was by Studebaker, but the coach building was done by some guy named Stevens, and they made like 3,500 of them to look like a 34 Mercedes SSX. Phyllis Diller owns 4 of these cars.
Yeah.
It's Harlow's favorite car,
It's
which
pretty
means Harlow
pimp.
and Phyllis Diller are the same.
I mean,
I knew
previously my only crossover with Phyllis Diller was an occasional episode of Hollywood Squares and A Bug's Life, but apparently also we share a love
Yep.
of cars.
Fantastic taste in cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool as shit.
yeah,
It's purple.
It's purple. It looks kind of like a Rolls-Royce Phantom. I mean, or
It looks like a 1934 Mercedes SSX.
well, I'm just saying for something a little more like like that. Will people will be like,
Yeah,
all
it looks
right.
like a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just saying, it's pretty badass,
Yeah.
and it's a very good pimp car.
Yeah. So Mr. One rolls into frame, and there's a drug deal going down. That Buddy, we don't. Okay, seriously, what the fuck?
I didn't do anything, did I?
It's going out on mine too, which is bizarre. Touch it. Just tap it.
Give it a little tappy tap. Maybe I need to twist over here.
Slap that thing down. Reverse it. Are you kicking it with your test?
I'm out on one ear completely.
I've got both ears, so it's
I've got some stuff in
It's
both
got to
ears.
be that.
it's got to be that thing because if I'm getting it, it wouldn't be from there.
Hello.
I sound fine.
I'm good.
I'm fine.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Let's continue. Nah, it just went away again. It's fine. It didn't sound like that last week when it went out, so it's not recording that way. I'll survive if it goes out again. So, and break. So, Mr. One rolls up into frame. There's a drug deal going on that he is sort of supervising. His crew is doing a drug deal in a van called Mr. Snow?
Snow
or
business.
Snow Business.
Yeah, because there's no business like snow business.
Right.
Is there?
They're literally dealing cocaine in this van. It is the most obvious thing. It's
It doesn't
not
say
clever.
we're selling cocaine
I
and here's
know.
our number.
I know.
I mean, it's
It
not.
does say we're selling cocaine. Here's our number, but at
Yes.
least it doesn't literally say
Yeah.
we're selling cocaine.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it veils the fact like a bride's veil veils her face, isn't it? Which is to say, not very well.
Sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, Buddy, as he's soon to be known, just basically walks out and is watching this. And Mr. One rolls by and he's like, "Are you Great Evil?" And he's like, "Yeah, you bet." And then,
Yeah, he just like flashes the gun, like,
Yeah.
"Yep, I'm the greatest."
yeah, yes.
Yeah, and anyway,
So
smell you later.
we've been introduced to our main bad guy. And don't worry, he is the worst. This guy fucking sucks. He's cool.
He's pretty bad. I mean,
Well, he's good in one way, sort of. I don't know.
he's got a cool car.
He's got a cool car.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
I also like
He has a cool grotto.
he was fucking with the police, and I respect.
well,
that.
that's true. Yeah,
Yes, he was.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the third way. He's got
Yeah,
a fucking
he does have a
Yeah.
Playboy grotto, like with secret like rooms and
secret
stuff.
entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking devil oil
Titties.
painting on the side of the building it's
Yeah.
in. Kind of a bit obvious, but
That's the best grotto I've ever seen.
yeah.
Anyway,
So, Buddy almost gets he walks in front of a karate dojo and is watching a guy inside do karate stuff. And he just absorbs it. He's just like, "I know karate now." And he starts doing it like this tall businessman walks by and he almost kicks him in the head. And then he's like, "No, friend, I'm sorry." And then walks in front of a truck and truck says, or the guy in the truck says like, "Look out, Buddy." And he's like, "Buddy." And then that becomes his name. He's just Buddy now.
There was a cop there, and I thought for a minute he was just going to be like, "I'm just karateing in the rain. Don't mind me." But the cop doesn't
did
really
not give a
care.
shit.
Yeah.
Nope. He's just like, "Man, another fucking weirdo. I hate this beat." So then we see a lady. She's walking the streets, not professionally. She just exits. She just exits a building, which later we come to find out is where she works. But she just exits a building in the worst part of town and is just walking by herself. And as we know in 80s movies where there are troublemakers around, she's going to get menaced. And that's what happens for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there are several points where it's like they probably should have given up and moved on to someone else. Like they were very dedicated in their menacing.
Very determined. Like, there's a lot of people in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I'm not making light of the crime but it's just like how this group of people were like, her. It has to be her, no matter what. Because they come back later. Like, they get thwarted,
Oh, yeah.
and she's, like, gone. And then they track her down later, and they're like, "Hey, lady."
Well, but I mean, this foot chase lasts so long that she eludes kicks or eludes everyone but one guy. Runs up does the worst thing and like runs in one of those like under the street tunnels, which is like, well, gee, if you've ever seen a movie, that's the worst place you probably want to go.
Mhm.
But ends up like running up a flight of like subway stairs to what only one guy's pursuing her. Managed to kick that guy in the balls and like doesn't.
She just stands there.
Like just stands there and I mean I think she does eventually get away from that time, but they come back. I mean it's just
she does.
There are several times where it's like guys,
Yeah.
no, she gets away and they get back in the car and come after her again. Yes, that's what it was.
They're relentless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seriously relentless.
So eventually they do catch up to her. All of them catch up to her and start doing awful things. Buddy sees like a top-down view of this happening. He has his powers
It's almost like Beastmaster powers. Like he's seeing it from like
sure, like
from
a hawk is
or
flying
something, yeah.
over, but we never.
Right.
His powers are never explained.
No.
But this is the first thing that we know he can do, which is see sex crimes happening.
You know what? Actually,
He also wasn't he above? I don't know. Maybe they
He
just
wasn't. That's just the
I just-
perspective of the Flash
Okay.
that he was seeing.
I just
Carry
thought
on.
of a way that like this could have actually been. So the thing about this movie is like there are little things that are like hinting at like really good sci-fi writing. I mean, like,
all right.
I mean like very little things like with a little bit more fleshed outness. They could have done
yes.
something very
I
interesting.
don't disagree with you.
And the thing is like what they could have done here is they could have introduced the kid that they bring in later. There's just a random homeless kid who becomes one of his pals.
Yep.
This kid should have been up on top of the roof seeing what was happening, but
Right.
being 8 years old and not able to do anything about it.
Yes.
And it could have explained that he is able to work off of people
see
that are
through
also
the eyes of the innocent.
of the good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, like, yeah. I
And
mean,
that's how he knows.
I just
how
think
he
like
can
that
recruit
would have
those
been
people.
some very simple like sci-fi writing that would have been
would have
interesting.
been good.
It was probably
But it
in the
didn't
writer's
happen.
head. They just forgot to tell
Sure.
us.
Anyway.
So anyway, he shows up, and he I remember karate. I just learned it from watching, and like one guy comes at him with a knife, and because he's an alien, he doesn't know what that is, and he gets cut, and he's like, "Hey, what the?" And then he knows not to get hit with the knife.
Yeah, he has a little flash to his karate skills. And
Yes. He's like, oh, right, sweep the leg. So he does that. He takes out a couple other guys. One guy is running away from him. He just picks up a pipe and fucking chucks it at that dude's head. And it makes just the most satisfying whoosh, 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 bang.
Yeah, yeah, it's basically like if you were to look up Foley for boomerang.
Yeah.
It's that like noise. And
It's so good and so satisfying. Yeah, dudes just keep coming at him, and he's just like, no, I know things. And then when he's done, he has a vision of himself doing all the things that he just did to them, but doing those things to himself. He's injuring himself.
Right.
And come to find out, if he uses force, it weakens him.
Right.
His powers here on Earth.
Yeah. Another
So-
thing that could have been very interesting is that like their society, it's like, it was bred in that like to do harm to others inflicts the same harm to you. That is some philosophically brilliant sci-fi shit.
Kind
right
of
there.
hinted at later when he starts explaining their planet, but
Right.
again, not fleshed out
Yeah.
to where you would totally understand it if you're not, it depends on why you're here. But anyway,
Sure.
So he's like, I've successfully chased all these people away. He goes over to the lady. The lady slaps him like, you also get away from me. And he's like, but I'm a friend. And she's like, oh, all right then. Let's walk away from this. And then she hails a cab. And he's like, do you know where I can find Great Evil? And she's like, I gotta go.
Nope. Bye.
You're touched in a way, and I can't. I appreciate what you did, but I really need to go.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he hasn't had the Johnny Five Starman Lilu moment where it's like he's like absorbed our culture and stopped being so weird.
yeah,
at this
no,
point,
he's early Starman,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
right
yeah.
now he's just like, eh.
right.
So okay, at this point, we have seen Mr. One in a nightclub saying things like, all these suckers are moving in on my business, and that I'm not going to stand for that. He sees a lady dancing. The lady's looking at him. He goes over to her and starts dancing with her, pushes the guy away that she's dancing with, and then cut to hotel room, and they are in bed together. Well, he gives her cocaine, takes her top off, and then they're in bed together. So, cut back, and he's like, listen, I need you to do me a favor, because someone has driven up and flashed their lights, and you're thinking, Mr. One's got to get to work. He's going to ask you to leave. No, this is worse. He says, someone's going to come in and look at you without your clothes on. And she's like, no, I'm not a whore. And he's like, I don't think you understand.
Well, he says this vice cop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that leads to some unpleasantness back and forth, and then she doesn't agree to do it. She just has to. So this disgusting guy comes in and is just kind of like being gross and like, put these on. I'm going to take hot Polaroids of you, which she starts doing sort of happily. I mean, she's also had drugs shoved down her mouth. Mr. One was like, "You will do this. Eat these drugs." So
he doesn't give her a choice.
No.
Eating the drugs either.
no, yeah. Mr. One has gone to a secret hiding room behind all this so he can record all of this. And what he is doing throughout the movie is blackmailing local officials. Now, it never really comes up in a way that works out for him, except at one point the cops that he has recruited do show up to take care of something.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot of time spent for like something that is like literally like half a second of tension between our main and the bad guy, and also he just walks out of jail at some point.
Yes,
with no repercussions.
Right. So it does two things basically. One, it allows the movie to have more nudity. Two, Buddy's powers seem to be tied to sex crimes in some way. Like he doesn't just see a robbery or a purse snatching going on. It's always something weirdly sexual that's happening, and he either sees it as it's happening or he comes in contact with the person who did it and then realizes, oh, you have done sex crimes. So
you've been involved with sex crimes.
Right.
Yeah.
So eventually the vice cop is like, all right, I'm just going to get rapey now because you laughed at me. And she's like, no, you're not, and beats him with a lamp. Not in the way that you would think either, but with the base of the lamp, like in a way that you would actually hit someone with a lamp, not in the movie way where you just
like where you crash the lampshade on somebody and it makes a large clang. No, she's using this as a club.
She uses the other end.
She also kicks him in the balls.
Yes.
Good job.
She runs out, and then again, this is not well explained either and is very confusing, but the other pimp from the club is the one who is waiting for her. I think she was always under his employ. I don't think
she was just dancing with like random ass Wall Street dude
because Pimp had her out there doing that.
All right.
Because she just gets snatched by that guy, and then the next time you see her, he's just doing cocaine, and she's like, "No thanks." You know, it's not like suddenly she has now been kidnapped by another pimp. It is just she has gone back to her
she's
original.
been de-kidnapped.
Yes.
I thought
yeah.
she's been repatriated.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I thought ininitially it was just some random unrelated hooligan.
Yeah, it did seem to be just like
that had snatched her.
It's not well. It's another one of those things where you have to do the extra work to get there. I'm only saying it because I've seen this movie twice, so I'm like, oh, all right,
you're the
that's
expert.
Who that guy is. Okay, so anyway, Mr. One is pissed, and he just gets in his car. And Buddy has just happened upon a random hooker who is like, hey, you want sex? And he's like, do you want to die? And she's like, what? You're weird. Go suck your carrot.
He says, why do you want to die?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he just starts like manhandling her for no reason. Like, this is the first time you're like, Buddy's a weirdo. What's wrong with him? They start going up this stairway.
Yes, this was the moment where I thought Buddy was a weirdo.
Yeah. So they go up this stairway that's adjacent to where she was working. Mr. One has seen them.
He died on the Peloton. And
yes.
Yeah.
He goes over, and Buddy's still asking her, why do you want to die? And Mr. One goes, no, you want to die, and shoots him. Shoots Buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy's dead. Until he goes to the hospital, and they wrap a bandage around his gunshot wound, and the nurse says, you'll be fine in a couple weeks.
Hours. It was hours. He was going to be fine in a couple of hours.
Yes, but the nurse was like being, really just careful about it. It's like, a couple weeks. Maybe take it easy.
Maybe he's got alien healing factor. And
no, I think she said hours. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure she said hours.
No, she said
okay, all right. But anyway, it's still just like a tiny little bandage with actual like no padding, and he just
no blood.
Yeah,
he's fine.
Almost like you would wrap a broken rib, not how you would treat a gunshot.
It's like when somebody gets their abdomen hurt in wrestling.
Yes,
or they break ribs in wrestling.
Yeah,
they're just taped around the tummy.
But he will never see these bandages. Will never make an appearance again.
No,
he's fine. So as he's walking out, a cop is walking him out. He passes by a room that a little girl is in, and he goes into the room, and is just like, "I got this."
This girl's in a coma.
She's supposed to be like brain dead. Mm-hmm. So he comes in, grabs her hand, says, "Touch my beard." Now he has said,
we're not kidding. He says that.
He has said nothing to these people. There's the parents, a priest. The room is full of people.
There's a doctor in there.
Not yet. The doctor's hiding somewhere.
Okay.
He's not aware of any of this.
The doctor who also has a beard, and just because it's weird, just it's a weird like combination of like this guy walks in and the first thing to like a 8-year-old in a coma is like touch my beard.
Yes.
This guy walks in all angry like, what's going on here? She's never touched my beard.
I'm the only one allowed to have a beard in this room.
Yeah. So he tells her to move her fingers, says, touch my beard. Everyone's like, yeah, let's go with this. Let's see what happens. And then she starts to wake up. And the doctor's like, well, this is just reflexes.
A little bit more than that. Like, he's like, if you can understand me by touching my beard. I don't think touch my beard was the first thing he said. He was like, if you could understand me, wiggle your fingers. And he's like, touch my beard. Then she wiggles her fingers. Touch your pillow. Wiggle your fingers. Then she starts to wake up.
Then she wakes up.
Feel your pillow.
Yeah,
not just touch your
Yeah,
pillow.
no,
feel your pillow underneath your fingers.
Yeah, but then she wakes up and they're like, oh my gosh.
The doctor's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
How dare you? But he has saved this child.
Mm-hmm.
This never comes up again.
No. She doesn't even become
just
part of
demonstrating the power of the
buddy.
So, somewhere I should say at some point in this movie, like about halfway through, almost unexpectedly, it becomes a ragtag team thing. He starts...
Oh, we'll get there.
Well, I just mean, I'm saying that this girl could have been part of his weird posse later.
It should have been
it was like
a recruitment, but it's not.
Yeah, just because, he's got former gang people, former rapists, the kids, and all this,
Right.
Yeah.
So... He goes back out, walk the streets. He finds some other hobos and just sits down with them. The lady who almost got raped drives by with her boyfriend / business partner / whatever the hell he is, driving. And she's like, that's him. That's the guy who saved me. Let's pick him up. And he's like, I'm not putting some weirdo in my car. And then the film goes, doodle-doodle-doodle, and there's a wipe. And then he's sitting in the car with them.
Mm-hmm.
She has won the argument. So they go to her place of business, which is the reading center. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's an inner city mini library for people to come and read books.
Yeah, or be taught to read.
Yes.
To read.
Yes.
Yeah.
Teach the youths how to read.
Not necessarily youths. Again, not necessarily youths.
I think that was her design.
Well,
but
sure, yes.
Buddy has different ideas.
Well, I'm just saying, in a scenario like this, I don't think it's exclusive to children are the only ones that need help reading.
No.
What I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So they get there, and the dude's like, this sucks. I don't. This is all dumb. You and your hippie granola bullshit. And Buddy's like, your husband is an asshole. And she's like, not my husband. It's like, whatever. He doesn't like you. He does. You're just staying with him for money. And why do you do this? And she's like, shut up.
I think this is when he starts is like, close your eyes and picture what you want.
Picture whatever you want.
Yeah.
And the thing that she pictures is her taking some money from that guy and throwing it at him. Just kind of throwing it up in the air like, haha, I don't need this money.
Kind of in his face, but yeah.
Yeah. And then she kind of opens her eyes and is like, oh my God, you're amazing. How did you do that? And he's like, I'm Buddy. And so while this is happening, one of the rapists is outside. He has followed them. For some reason, he was hiding down an alley in his cool car. And
yes, that's the other thing. Everyone has cars that are not era appropriate.
They're all from a car club of some kind.
It's just weird. It's like
no one has a modern car.
All of these supposed rapist gangster gang members and stuff are just driving fucking Greased Lightning and shit. I mean, it's like
yes,
it's like it's so weird.
They've all got like 60s hot rods except for Mr. One.
Yes,
who has an 80s hot rod.
So he's been waiting down an alley. He sees them drive by, and then he's like, all right, time to continue the raping. So he just follows them, goes to the reading, and he's outside with a gun. He's just like, time to shoot them. Like, I don't know, just because. Murder time. Buddy gets a sense of this. Mm-hmm. They sneak out the back and run around. And then Buddy ends up picking this dude up, one arm and one leg. Mm-hmm. And carries him into the place.
Yeah, like a sack of potatoes.
Yes. Throws him into a chair. And then manages to recruit him by asking, because this guy's like, what do you give a shit? I'm just another stupid Mexican. And he's like, who said that to you? Who called you that? He's like, everybody calls me that. He's like, no, really.
Yeah, who called you stupid first?
Who called you stupid?
Yeah, eventually. My mom.
Yeah.
It broke some milk. My mom called me stupid and said I'd never be stupid.
This goes on forever of him like, say it. Tell me who called you stupid. Go back to that moment and tell me about it. And so he's crying. And like the boyfriend who was outside comes in with a cop, and the cop is like, "I heard there was a gun. What's going on in here?" And Buddy's like, "Nothing. Just teaching this kid how to read." And then the lady volunteers, "Yeah, he didn't try to rape me or anything." And the cop's like, "Well, there's nothing here. I gotta go. I gotta go somewhere else." And the guy's like, "What?" He's like, "Sorry, no complaint. Gotta leave. I'm a cop." So now they have recruited this guy. He's a friend of theirs.
Yeah, and the rest of his people, because they converted this guy, and apparently that converted everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the rest of that gang has been converted, and Buddy goes back to the hobo, and he's just like, "Hey, sunrise, good times."
Yeah, well, this is I was saying, this is where we also meet the kid who wants to be an astronaut, the one homeless kid.
Yes.
We also meet the little girl who was called an ugly duckling by her aunt or whatever. I'm just saying, because like these are all the
little girls later. The boy is
Okay,
introduced here
fine.
because Mr. One catches up to the other pimp, kills him in a bathroom, and then the kid walks in and sees it and is just like, "Well, time to take this dead man's money."
Right. But I'm just pointing it out because it's like it's kind of secretly at this point, because he goes back to the hobo guy and is like, "You know metal and stuff, right?"
He just wanders by him.
Yeah,
and
he's got like a
radiator fan or
Something-
something.
it's a radiator fan.
on his hobo cart.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Nice metal." And he's like, "Yeah, I used to be a mechanic before I got hoboed." And, he's...
Oh, I'm on the range.
I know metal.
Yeah.
Where the buffalo are home.
He's like,
I was wondering, like, is that just like, like
public
is there,
domain. You can
Was
see
it public? Like, I want to know certain things, like, because this movie brings to light certain things that, like, we. Like, first off, no, I just mean, like,
shining a light on.
we realize that, like, generally speaking, if you don't know what else, your drunk song is going to be Home on the Range.
Sure.
And your Stuck in Jail song is going to be Nobody Knows.
Yes.
Right.
The Trouble I've Seen, or whatever the actual name of the song is. But yeah, but I'm just saying, like, because there's a point where he's sitting in jail, and we just both were like, immediately, like, nobody knows.
That's what happens
and I
when
was
you're
like,
sitting alone in jail.
and I was like, where do these things get established? Like, when does this happen? I mean, Mel Brooks, I know Mel Brooks makes jokes, but, like, is that?
1940 is where they get established.
Yeah. They're tropes in movies, and then cartoons do it, and
I
then it's
guess.
just in your brain, and you can't get it out.
I guess. Anywho.
So, yeah, he asks the hobo guy, "I've got a project. Can you help me?" And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." So...
Yeah, and then suddenly he's got the, it's like an 80s after-school montage, because he's got the rape gang and the hobo, and they're like, they're going shopping in the
That's the name of
junkyard.
the
Yeah,
after-school special.
rape gang and the hobo. It's not a great one.
No.
Yeah.
Only aired once.
Um,
Parents were horrified.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, they're just they basically have a montage, a shopping montage a very brief montage, because I mean it was over before I realized that like they were actually putting a gang together, and they've got a Clockwork Orange style sports car put together. Like
they have this reveal. They open these shutter doors, and it is like a glowing hangar, and he has somehow got his home planet jumpsuit back and is wearing it. Popped collar.
He made it, I assume.
It's got a logo on it, some weird Scientology bullshit logo on it.
It's the BIM. It's
a
the BIM
little
mark
bit BIM and a
yeah.
little bit what did you say, the Deathly Hallows or whatever? Yeah, or
yeah, because that was on the Reading Center. I think the Deathly Hallows was.
Is that what it was?
2/3 of the Deathly Hallows, the triangle and the circle.
Yeah.
Right, but it's similar to his symbol too. Like he's got a little circle.
It might be that infinity thing that was flashing
maybe.
on him
Sure.
on his home planet.
Maybe.
Whatever.
But anyway, so he's standing there all cool in this reveal shot of this ridiculous sports car that he's built.
That is the AutoKit Invader GT.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Thanks, IMCDB.
I think the thing is like, in my mind, this is not the vehicle they would be building to go fight crime. This is just I'm on Earth and I want to have some fucking fun vehicle. Like this is not a crime fighting vehicle. This, like,
no, not at all.
I
And
mean,
it never gets used for crime fighting because it was somebody's car they borrowed.
That's what I mean. It's like you think because of this montage and what is happening that they're building the fucking A-Team van, and it's like let's go
or
kill
a Mad
Mr.
Max
Mr. One.
sort of thing. Yeah.
Or a spaceship, or he's got like I'm going to have to go home at some point. Let's build a spaceship. But yeah, he builds this sports car, which is just for fun. Like there is a good 10-minute portion of this movie where you realize that Buddy has just resigned himself to the fact that he is going to hang out at this learning center, teach people how to read, and be the boyfriend of this lady.
And teach these kids calculus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not until a rock is thrown through the learning center window and she's like, "Oh, the gangs want their protection money." And he's like, "What? This will not stand." Because so he is already right before that is when the girl was in there.
I'm just saying it's not an important scene other than it's fucking ridiculous. There's a, I mean, I'll be honest.
I think this is a very important scene.
I mean, it's
because of the weird tonal whiplash this movie
is.
has.
Yes, it is a. But I mean, she's like an unusual looking child. Not ugly.
Unfortunate,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I'm
she'll
just
grow
saying,
into her
yeah,
beauty.
I'm just saying she's like she's an unusual looking child, and she was teased by her aunt or whatever. And Buddy is like, "Why are you sad?" And he's like, "I was called an ugly duckling." And he's like, "Okay, picture in your eyes." Similar thing to the how he reached what's her face? I don't even know her name. What is her name? The main lady, school marm lady.
Her
school marm
character's name is Laura.
Laura? Is
yeah,
that
that's
ever
right.
said?
It was Laura. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was said. It was
All
just
anyway.
because remember he says that's a very beautiful sound.
Yes,
when she says her name
my
at the
name's
beginning.
Laura.
Okay, but yeah, see, he has her close her eyes and picture what she would like to happen. Except he's kind of guiding this one more. He's like, take your aunt's nose and stretch it out into like Pinocchio style, and now pluck it like a guitar string.
Yeah,
which she does, but then it also adds like like the farm, like the cow says moo noises. Like, I mean, it's just
it's just every sound effect on the record.
Yeah.
It's the morning zoo sound effect. Yeah.
But I mean, it's like all farm animals. It's like everyone just hit every single one of the like speak and spell or whatever.
And they dub in a little bit of the Hendrix doing the national anthem thing.
Well, he does say play the national anthem.
Yeah, on her nose. Yeah.
And it's legally distinct from Hendrix doing the national anthem.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, that cures the child. The child is no longer sad.
Right.
But the entire tale of the ugly duckling was that it turns into Beautiful Swan later.
Right.
And he's like, he obviously didn't read that book among the 47,000 other books he read.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention he has his Johnny Five learning moment where he's reading all the encyclopedias while
him and Ernesto.
Yeah, is it?
No, Ernesto is not.
Well, Iglesias or Iglesias, Enrique.
Enrique.
Yes, Enrique is the one who dies.
Sorry, Enrique Iglesias is the last name of the person who we were making the jokes about. But Enrique is the guy that gets killed. I don't remember what this other guy's name is, but he's reading Alice in Wonderland while Alien Warrior is reading like everything under the sun.
Yes. So anyway, this is like a 10-minute. He's like teaching kids how to read. He builds himself a sports car. He drives around. This is when he meets the kid. The kid's like, "I'll cut you if you try to make me touch your beard." And he's like, "Of course."
Fair enough.
So he's like immediately like, "So what do you want to be, kid?" And kid's like, "An astronaut." He's like, "Cool." And he's like, "I can't be an astronaut. I'm homeless." And he's like, "Come with me." And they drive to Edwards Air Force Base.
And watch the shuttle land.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid is like, "This is the best day of my life." And now the kid works for Buddy too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just this weird, like, I'm making friends with everybody. I'm building an army, but for no real reason that until the Rock comes through the window and he's like,
no, before that,
my God, that's the Rock's music.
before the Rock, before we smell what the Rock is cooking, the gang members have a montage where they go and re-graffiti the city. That's part of their montage of the car too. Like when they're like,
No, it's after this because he's got to recruit the rest of the gang members first. He's only got the 5 right now.
I thought it was just him.
No,
he
has to. It's right after this.
My bad.
They explain this protection money thing, and he's like, "Where?" And so he goes to he takes the envelope that the money's supposed to be in. He puts an address on it. He's like, "Come meet me."
Yeah. Do you want twice as much money? Meet me here.
So they all roll up like from all different sides in formation.
Yeah. And you're right, because this is the first time I realized he's actually formed a gang because he's brought all of the kids, basically kids compared to him, along with him to stand at the end of this road and say, "Come at his racket gang."
Right. Yeah. And they all do, and he's like, "So where's the money?" And he's like, "I lied." And the guy's like, "I'm gonna fucking end you." And then it gets real slow motion and weird. Mm-hmm. Now there's a stop sign right in front of Buddy. It gets slow-mo. He rears back and just smashes the shit out of the post that the stop sign is on. And while still in slow motion says, "No more." Mm-hmm. And they're all like, "Cool." Yeah. Anyway, hey, cool car.
Yeah. Pretty much, they're just like, hey, anyone who can punch through a stop sign is cool with us.
Yeah, they're like, wow, all right, well, I guess we're not getting our money.
Strength.
Yes. So it's after this that there's the montage of them cleaning up graffiti.
They changed their entire altitude.
So at first you just see them painting over the graffiti, and you're like, oh, that's nice. They're doing something good for the community. And then they're putting graffiti over top of it. You're like, wait, what are you doing? But their graffiti is just dumb fortune cookie bullshit. But it just says things like...
It's basically all like Boy Scout handbook.
Yes.
Because I just for the rest of the movie, I was like, everything
Right.
your mom or Boy Scouts ever told you or whatever is what they're painting. Like, do not. One of them is like, do not murder.
The first thing you see is "Do not murder,"
Yeah.
which I think is the funniest graffiti I've ever seen in my entire life. Just if I drove by somewhere that said "Do not murder," I would make a point to drive by there every day. It would be the best graffiti.
I don't know if I'd want to be there or like part of me would be like, that's great. Like that's what people are writing on the walls here. And then the other part of me would be like,
Oh, there must be a lot of murder.
yeah, like maybe it's on the wall because there's a real problem with it here. So maybe I don't want to be here.
Please stop murdering. Too much murder.
Right.
Turn around. So
Yeah.
the other one,
it's like the speed bumps in the parking lot only come because people are speeding.
Exactly.
So it's not.
so it's dangerous
yeah,
there.
right.
Yeah. The other one that's kind of their catchphrase says "Be temperate,"
Mm-hmm.
and at
I
one
like be temperate. It's a good.
at one corner, Mr. One rolls up on this and he sees it. It's like, "Be temperate." Shit. So that pisses him off.
Yeah. What am I, San Diego?
So they see the one guy and just kind of chase after him, and they both get into a fight with him. There's a lot of karate kicking, and at one point the kid does like a flying kick at one of the guys, and it turns into Evil Dead for a second because he's like on a rig of some kind,
Mhm.
and his leg is just moving through the frame from left to right. And this is when Mr. One sees his chance because it's all very slow, and obviously he could do something during this moment where he is flying through the air 20 feet from where he was to kick this other man in the face, and he just shoots him in the leg.
Yeah.
Like, just obliterates his leg.
Well, like
Blows his knee up.
real close to this crotch. I mean, depending on how well endowed he was, it might have done some damage.
Just
but
the
yeah.
tip.
I thought it was I thought it was in the knee.
Oh no, it was like super crotchal area because
Okay.
it was.
Super crotchal area.
I just
My
mean it was
favorite
like
Super
I was
Nintendo
like
game.
at first I almost screamed out like he got shot in the dick because it was that close, and then I was like,
Well, the good news is that he never has this wound again.
no.
It is magically healed.
He does. I mean, it persists through this scene because he has to limp out of the scene with it. But yeah,
Yes.
Limp
after
out.
that,
But after that, yeah. So the kid has shown up, the buddy has shown up, and the bad cops that Mr. One has gotten on his side, because there was a scene too on a boat where he just had a bunch of women with their titties out, and he's just standing up there with the camera while the dudes he's blackmailing are groping these ladies, and he's like, it's like, look up, guy. You can totally see. Like, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
maybe it was like a one-way mirror thing on his boat. Like
He was on. No, he was out.
no, there was like a windscreen. He was up in like the captain's deck or whatever it's called, and
There are no one-way windscreens.
maybe I mean maybe he had Mr. One Way.
Mr. One-Way. Okay.
I don't know. Whatever.
Anyway, the bad cops roll up and arrest Buddy,
Mhm.
or they try to, because the next scene is Buddy dragging these two cops into the police station. He's like, "I want them arrested," and then he sees the police captain, who has also been blackmailed for touching titties, and the police captain is like, "Nah, arrest him," and they're like, "Ha, tables have turned," and they throw him in jail. So now Buddy's in jail.
Yeah.
Buddy's in jail for a good 20 minutes of this movie until suddenly he's not anymore.
Yeah, never explained. Like, I mean, I think his rape gang friends are like, we should get him out of there or go. I think it's more like we're gonna go continue on what he was doing.
Yeah, they're like, "We can't get him out.
Yeah.
There's nothing we could do." I heard La Cigaretto is here.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cigarillo.
The cigarillo, yeah.
Let's go get him. So this is the whole thing in Mr. One's grotto,
Mhm.
where he's just, oh my god, so many ladies.
It is a long involved thing because like he's got a bunch of ladies and drugs and money and Uzis
Mhm.
and some kind of weird system that is never explained with a carnation and the door of the grotto, like a
It's-
necktie sock thing.
It's all about the instant breakfast.
It's just, hey, don't come in here. The carnation's on the floor.
Sure.
But that guy doesn't pay attention.
Rose carnation. It is a flower. It is a pretty flower. A corsage style flower, if you will.
This all
It's a
leads
prom
to
flower.
they manage to kill that dude, but this starts a gang war between that dude's dudes and Mr. One's dudes, and also the Buddy's dudes. Enrique goes to get the car, which is a fatal mistake because he pulls back into the parking lot and gets fucking murked, and that car explodes.
Oh yeah, it does.
And so the guy, we don't know his name, is all like, Enrique.
Yeah, which is the only reason we know any of their names, because I mean that's the thing is
Yes, because he
I mean
says
other than people saying Buddy fairly often, nobody's name is really said. I mean, and we really
Mr.
only-
One is on his license plate. That's how we know.
exactly. That's the only reason we have a name for him. Is
Yeah.
because he clearly has it on his license plate.
Yes. Yeah. So this leads to a car chase because Mr. One comes out in his Speedo, dripping wet, gets in his car to chase after the two guys who are still alive. The guy driving the car gets the top of his head blown off, and the car hits another car and flips over, or skids on its side, comes to an end. Mr. One gets out. He's having a shootout with the one guy. Doesn't really succeed in that. And that guy runs off and escapes. Mr. One goes back.
I thought I'd seen Wayne's World too many times, and
He goes back somewhere, gets out of his car, still in his underwear, super pissed off, and just fires off his gun in every single direction possible, just furious.
yes, he was definitely born to be wild. He fired all of his guns into space.
Yeah, it's a great, like, blam, blam, blam. So suddenly Buddy's out of jail. They let him out of jail for Enrique's funeral.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like Enrique is having a funeral. At first, we didn't realize it was him. We were like, oh shit, are we about to have like a pimp moot?
It looked like a pimp moot because everyone in this car drives, or everyone in this movie drives pimp cars.
But it's not. It's Enrique's funeral, and
No.
Buddy is suddenly out of jail and never explained how or why, and why we wasted any time with blackmailed cops or all that other than titties.
They can only hold you for 48 hours without charging you. So
I think they had him on something though. I mean, he walked in with two cops in
He did
handcuffs.
beat the tar out of those cops.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
they probably have.
I'm pretty sure that's a thing. I mean, it probably shouldn't be in a lot of cases, but I'm pretty sure it's a thing. Yeah,
You're probably right.
yeah.
So it's at this funeral. This is intercut with the hooker that we saw at the very beginning, getting picked up by a dude who gives her a bunch of money, and then pulls out a gun and is like, "Come with me." And Buddy's like, "Oh my god, this whore that we have barely interacted with is in danger. I have to go save her." So he just tears ass out of there. And they're all like, "Let's go, guys!" And they all tear ass after him.
And this is another random ass, I don't know, whatever, just guy. I mean, this is like a weirdo who's like,
no,
Just a weirdo.
This is a weird.
I mean, this is one of the pimps who's
killer.
like, this is like one of the pimps that's like, you're mine now. I own you.
Yeah.
You know, this is just like, it's just.
I think
this
it
is
needs to
fucking
be
psycho.
pointed out that she was being menaced by a snake and a drill.
Yes.
Yes.
The drill was being held by a man. The snake was just there.
Right.
But
Snake wasn't
important to
entirely
note.
sure what was going on. He
No.
was like, "Am I part of this? Am I not? I don't know. I'm going to stay in here."
Snake was just like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah. But then the drill
but snakes
came
are
out.
inherently menacing.
I'm sorry,
so,
but
you
I'm
know.
innocent.
Yes, you're never around when I need you.
So what happens? This is the second. And it happened once before when the other pimp was talking to the girl who escaped from Mr. One. Mr. One pops up on the outside that dude's car, just from the driver's side door. Just ha. It's like, oh god.
Yep.
He does it again as Laura is driving off to figure out where the hell is Buddy going.
Right. I think she's in the car. I think she's in the Mercedes that the guy had, which is funny because it's like he appears in like the same spot that Buddy also appeared after she won the argument.
Yes.
But more from like the elevator coming up out of the floor. Style.
Took 3 cinematographers to make that happen.
Yeah. So Mr. One pops up out of the back seat like, I got you now. So that's happening. So Buddy he
has just rescued the ennui whore.
he doesn't just rescue her.
Yeah.
He explodes through the wall.
True. Yes.
And is like, I'm here. And this is such a weird. This is not for a driller serial killer. This is the dumbest comeuppance of the entire film. He just gets knocked ass first into a trash can, and then he takes a bag of manure, and you're like, oh, here we go. And instead just weights it down on top of him like, that'll teach you.
It's some real bullshit.
It is. It's some real bullshit.
I mean, it was. It's
I
on the
know.
It said steer manure. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's not really a bull, I guess, if it's steer, but close enough.
Steer shit.
Close enough for our needs.
Yeah.
So now it is revealed that every car in town has a CB radio inside. So Mr. One gets on his, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Goody Good, I got your lady. What are you gonna do?" So of course Buddy has one in his car, and he's like, "Don't touch her." So he's like, meet me at the smelter. It's like, what? So
Like there's
I
only
think
one
Buddy was
smelter
Ted
in
Levine
Los
there for half a
Angeles.
second. He's like, don't touch her.
don't touch her.
There's my lady.
So
Put the lotion on her.
So she manages to distract him for half a second and then crashes into a pile of cardboard boxes. This doesn't work for long. He just gets out and is like, we're still going to the smelter. Like, we're still here. So she hits him with a pipe and is swinging it around like an idiot. And eventually he's just like, lady, Jesus. And, gets her and makes her drop the pipe and then punches her dead in the face and drags her over to the smelter. And it's like, you're going in here, but not yet, because remember what this movie's about, attempted rape. So he's like going to do that. And then Buddy rolls up and is like, stop.
Yeah. And at no point is like he like gotten rid of his passenger, who's not really on board for the crime fighting, really.
No, she's just like, wait, where are we going?
Except that she disappears from depending on the shot, because like he takes a shot at the car, she's not there. Because for half a second I was like, oh, good, he did get rid of her, and then she's back in a shot.
She's
later.
very prominently there. Like I figured she was just there to get shot. Right. Like, oh,
this isn't like a car that's large enough for you to hide in. It is a very tiny sports car.
Yes,
so.
Like you could not hide in this car. There's no doors.
She was laid back.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. So, the lady's been almost smelted, but she wakes up. Buddy is there. He's getting shot at.
Is that our new keyword? Smelted?
Yes. You got blackulid. You got smelted.
A blackulid is not a euphemism.
Yeah,
smelted, I think.
I mean, that seems like, because I don't think smelting was the real terror here that she was.
No, I'm saying that part is like he's gotten off of her because Buddy has showed up. He's shooting at Buddy.
Sure.
So she's just kind of standing there. So he gets the drop on Mr. One and punches him, and he's down, and you think that's it. But then, like, his henchman, who is kind of around but never enough to where you actually remember him being there, he pops up from behind something like, haha, I got the drop on you, buddy, and then just fills him full of bullets. Mm-hmm. And Buddy's on the ground, and he's like, I'm sorry, Laura, can't be together. And then he kind of phases out of our existence, but he's still there, Buddy. And now he's a ghost.
Yep.
So Mr. Pig gets, or shit.
Yeah.
Mr. One gets.
He was a buddy guy. Now he's a buddy ghost. Yeah.
Yes. Mr. One gets up. Buddy the ghost walks over to him, and they're just kind of swatting at each other. And Mr. One's like, haha, screw you, I'm gonna smelt your lady.
But
so
what's even better about this is, like, so he takes a few like ghost cat paws at him when he can't do anything.
He does.
But then there's a long shot.
This is the best.
The long shot is like
this is the absolute best.
One of the best things I've ever seen, because for a low budget movie to put in an animated ghost guy in a long shot is that's asking a lot. That's asking a lot.
It's something that you wouldn't expect, but it fucking does it.
Yeah, and he's just
trying to
I mean, he's picked up Laura and is like taking her back to Minnesota at the smelter again, I guess. And he's just like, hey, but
he's trying to grab him. It's obviously not working because he's a ghost.
Yeah, it's just great because I mean the fact that it's like a crane shot. I mean, it's way up there.
So he's gonna throw her in the smelter, and Buddy's standing up there as a ghost, like right there with her, like, sorry, I can't do anything. I'm a ghost. And then
astronaut kid shows up and throws a rock,
and then the gang members who are still alive and have healed magically are like, guess what? I'm gonna empty my gun into you, Mr. One, and they do. And then Mr. One falls in the smelter, and everyone's like, ew, that's gross. Anyway, and then Buddy ascends.
He smelt it. He dealt it.
Yes. Buddy is in a vortex with a glowing star in the middle of his chest floating in the sky. And Laura's like, wait, no. And he's like, listen, babe.
My people need me.
Yeah. So he leaves. And
it's not you, it's me, and my ghost planet needs me.
I don't understand why his arrival on Earth is so violent, but his return to his planet is so gentle and just like...
It's because he got murdered.
Maybe the arrival is based on the temperament of the place that you're arriving.
Oh.
Earth is a big shithole, so it was a fucking steaming pile of explosion.
Well, it should have still been a steaming pile of explosion to get him back.
So he went back to his.
Well, I'm saying it's based on your destination. Like if you're flying to Honolulu, they just put the lay on as you get on the
right.
You know,
If you're flying to Jacksonville, you get off and they hand you a gun.
Fucking a PBR or whatever.
They just put the coffee smell in your nose.
A Miller Lite and a gun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it was based on his destination. He's going back to his happy home planet, so he gets to nicely, peacefully beam back there.
He gently settles back down right in front of his dad.
Yeah.
As he was leaving, he's telling everyone who's still there, close your eyes and picture whatever you want, and you'll get it. And they're all just like, even the hookers doing it, they're all just closing their eyes and then opening and be like grinning like idiots. The kid especially is grinning like a fucking idiot. But he just lands back in front of his dad, and his dad's like, so, son.
Yeah, you're a real leader now.
He's like, yep, sure am. And his dad's like, I sense that you are longing for someone. He's like, yeah, hang on, let me do one more telepathic communication with my lady. And then he says the thing PJ says in the intro, which is just, time and death are lies. We'll be together forever, see ya.
Yep.
And the movie ends. So, this thing's fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we said during the movie, it is the rapiest after-school special you've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is this entire movie plays off like like some kind of weird interstellar hippie after-school special where, peace is love and everything and violence is bad, but then it's just like, yeah, but what if there's tits and real close to raping?
That's what I don't understand. That is what I'm most fascinated about this what I find most fascinating about this movie is that at its core, it's this weird Jesus parable of, do no harm, make friends of your enemies, defeat evil, all that kind of stuff. Be nice to kids, learn how to read, et cetera, et cetera.
So they were trying to take the Superman myth back to Jesus instead of Moses? Okay.
But the thing is that
not back. I mean, it was a Moses.
The thing that the audience for that sort of genuine sincerity of teach kids how to read, don't let bullies get you down, do not murder, that kind of thing, is not going to watch a movie with this much rape in it.
Right? Yeah,
they're just not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they basically John bad him to this thing. Like I said, it's like one of those like, why did you make a Looney Tunes movie where like every other word is fuck? Yeah. I don't understand.
It's like who this is for is baffling to me, but it's also exactly for me because I was like, holy shit, everything about this is so good. We didn't even talk about like the breakdancing session that breaks out.
Oh yeah, there was a whole rap about reading and
Yes.
staying in school while there was breakdancing going on.
Was that near the graffiti, like the positive graffiti montage?
That was right before it,
Okay.
because that scene bleeds out into them doing graffiti.
Yeah, I remember it was like, that's where we were like, oh, wow, what a weird after-school special this became.
Yes.
And it's directed by Ed Hunt, not Helen Hunt. Famously of after-school special.
Right, yeah. She was on Angel
Diving out
Dust
of a
and
window.
jumps out a window.
Yeah.
It is one of the most tonally baffling things I've ever seen. Like, it is one of the most ridiculous things. I don't know who it's for besides us.
Fair.
And they made it way before we existed. So
I would love for this to be on something that is a medium that doesn't
like
suck.
Laserdisc.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Is like I didn't bring it up at any point in time in the movie because I don't know if it's the rip, copy, whatever. This movie doesn't exist. We have a rip of it. I'm not even going to lie. It just doesn't exist anywhere that we could get it easily and legally.
I honestly looked at getting a VHS copy of it, and it was like $35.
Right.
It's hard to get.
So I mean, the thing is like, I don't know if it's the production of the rip that we have, but there are some scenes where it's just like the sound basically disappears.
Yeah.
Like the scene, God, what scene? There's a scene with the lady and him. God, it's just like impossible.
It's when the cop comes in.
Yeah, that scene. Yeah, when he's having the rehabilitation scene with the gang member who we don't know his name.
Yes.
And everything.
Right. Who called you a stupid Mexican?
Yeah, it's just like you won't be a rapist if you don't believe you're stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
I forgive you.
Anyway, I was just saying the sound like is just like, where are you? Like the mic is in another room.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, I didn't bring it up because it's like, who knows what that is?
Right. I'm sure that was tape damage.
Yeah.
I do want to say this movie was actually called King of the Streets, and that is the song that plays during the car chase, because all of a sudden there's a sad wailing song that plays while the car chase is happening. So the actual movie was called King of the Streets.
Okay.
Just for funsies.
All right.
You can tell the beginning because the opening credits pause and then they superimpose Alien Warrior over there. You're like, oh, that's not the title of this movie at all.
What's a super what?
They fucking superimposed.
Superimposed. Fucking
I
shit.
was trying to play the part of the
I
old
know.
man, and he doesn't know what the fuck a superimpose.
Tied to the truck as usual. Okay, old man.
I'll be sitting here. I do my nonsense.
All right, let's rate Alien Warrior.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll go.
okay,
I
sure,
don't
go
ever
for
go often first, so I will.
I want to hear it.
You've watched this twice, so
Yes.
I want to get out there on the head of this one. Man, I said I would go, but I am teetering between a 3 and a 4.
Okay.
Jocks,
All
not
right.
bags, obviously, because this is. I think I'm gonna have to land on 3 with a caveat if it could be 4 if it wasn't. We weren't watching something so awful of a transfer, because I just the technical aspects of some of this infuriating me from time to time that it can't go higher. I want to.
I knew that
I
would
want
be-
to, but because I fucking man, I don't know why I love dumb space. Like space through the lens of fucking Scientology or whatever this is. I mean, I don't know why that is so amusing to me that space is some kind of weird temple, and I don't mean Jewish temple. I just mean this weird thing where it's everything is religious and strange iconography and stuff, and it's why do we think that is how interstellar? I'm sorry, maybe it's just because of what we've been shoveled here on Earth, but how does a place that goes interplanetary travel have its entire belief system based on fucking feelings and religion and iconography? It's generally you would have to put that away in order to advance society enough to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think so. I just think it's sort
They
of
advanced. They came back around.
sure, maybe that's what it is. Anyway, so I just think there's a certain level of this primitive almost Incan style ideology of transported into space is hilarious because I said it's in Star Crash, it's in all these things where it's these space hippies rule everything. I don't know why that's my I love that aesthetic.
Yeah.
That being said, yeah, I think I got to land on 3 until with a caveat of it could go higher should this arrive on a DVD or Blu-ray one day. Unlikely, but
You said a 3?
I think a 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd give it a 3 as well. It's exactly our kind of crap, It's not good enough, obviously, since I only gave it 3. But it just doesn't have enough panache to get it to a 5. But it's doing some stuff, and I don't know. There's just this weird earnestness to it that I find charming and also very bad. But yeah, if someone out there has a good copy of this that they can get to us, we would appreciate it. Because I'd like to see it again
For the first time.
in a decent format. I know it's not on Laserdisc or whatever.
Nope.
But if somebody has a really clean VHS, it'd be nice to see it.
If you are Ed Hunt, the director of this film,
Yeah.
and you just have a copy of it in your garage, sitting around in pristine condition, we can get you in touch with some people who would be happy to pay for that print to put it on a Blu-ray.
Yeah. I would also love to see it in a theater.
Yes, absolutely. First, screen the print for us.
I know a theater that would do it.
Yep.
So
We will have a good time.
yeah, us, Ed Hunt, about 4 other people.
Mm-hmm.
It would be fantastic.
Bring Buddy in. You can ask Buddy questions.
Yeah, bring Buddy. Bring Robert Zabuddy.
I just love that. I just looked at that guy's filmography, and I love that. The whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm I recognize this guy.
Yeah,
He's
there's
in
a reason.
3 Sedaris movies.
Yeah, he's
Huh?
Shane from the Sedaris movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
But the crazy thing is, it's not where I recognize him from. It's this look and this stupid hair. It's one of Khan's people. That's
Star Trek 2.
yeah,
he's the-
that's
he's
why-
in the
Yeah.
background
yeah,
the whole time.
yes, that's why. I mean,
Yep.
I know, looking at it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can totally see that guy from the Serious movies.
Yep.
But this look, I was like, why do I know this guy?
Yeah.
And I was like, Conscriptman, there he is.
Yep.
Very familiar.
Also, in the continuing adventures of completely wrong IMDb credits, Frank Dux is supposedly in this movie as Ninja or something.
I think he's the karate guy.
Do you think he's the karate guy?
I think so.
It says Ninja Warrior.
Well, I don't know about that, but
The guy that he's watching kick everybody's ass.
I think he was the karate instructor. That
Really?
would be my guess.
The weirder things
Maybe.
happen, man. I learned something today that I never knew from a movie that I've seen a billion times. That I just like sometimes like people look different based on their age or whatever. You just like have seen them a million times or in the background, and you're like, sorry, apparently you guys are having sound problems. I'm not. But yeah, I didn't know Rita Moreno was in Singing in the Rain in a very small part.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
it
wow.
was just like, and I was just like, yeah, I was watching the little behind the scenes thing, and I was like, holy shit, that's Rita Moreno. Like I've seen this movie a billion times, I never knew that. Yeah. Anyway, but I buy it. That was Frank Dux.
I mean, Frank Dux's whole backstory
Frank
is
Dux,
built on lies anyway. So.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Frank Dux just put himself in Alien Warrior.
I mean, there is this because
we
the
can't
credits,
read the credits. Yeah.
because the credits are so hard to read. This is one of the IMDb entries that is not listed as complete because no one knows.
Right.
Like there are people who have clearly added themselves to the listings that says things like scenes deleted and stuff like that. It's like I used to do that before the IMDb really cracked down on shit. I added myself as an extra to like Jaws 2 and shit like that. So
Chuck, you're a liar.
baby on beach.
What would you have been, like one?
Yeah, I was a baby on the beach. Okay. So it was fun, and then they started verifying. So fuck off.
Oh, don't get angry, Chuck.
I'm sorry. It's fine. I don't really care. I better accountability, please, for IMDb entries.
Yes, especially the trivia section.
I'm all about it. So, so I think my rating's obvious here. But the thing I want to say most about this movie is that the thing that I love about it most is that it is a very, like BJ was saying, heartfelt, sincere story made for dirtbags.
Made for and possibly by dirtbags. I don't know.
Made for people who get off on attempted rape scenes. It is the weirdest thing. The absolute weirdest thing. From the time he picks up the gang guy in the parking lot of the building and drags him inside and throws him in the chair and then is like, tell me who called you stupid. From like that point on, I'm like, what? You're not going to murder all the rapists? You're going to make them your friends? What? From there, I was just like, this is the most fascinating thing. This is the absolute most fascinating thing. For me, I wish it was for you guys. Maybe if you watch it again in a better format, it will be. It's a Five Jocks movie because, man, I said this when I wrote it up on Letterboxd. We've seen a lot of low-budget filmmaking where you're like, wow, every choice the director made here was the absolute wrong one. Every choice the director made here was right. It's weird, but it's right. Like, if you're going to have him build a supercar, of course you reveal it in this glowing warehouse where he's standing there like a fucking boss in his alien jumpsuit like, haha, check out my sweet ride. It's like, oh, that's all you were doing is building a cool car?
Yeah, that's a super Megaforce shot. I mean, just in terms of like,
Yeah.
For sure.
wow, that's what you were doing is like, with all your money, you built a weird toy car? Like, like
You just built
you just-
yourself
you-
a
It's all
ride.
like the wrong decisions, but the right
right.
execution of
Yeah.
it.
Right.
It's
Like, there's no way he should be driving a supercar, but if you're going to make him drive a supercar,
Just like the Megaforce people
Here it is.
probably shouldn't be on motorcycles. Like,
No.
that's not probably the most
they
advantageous or
should've.
flying motorcycles.
But they
Yes,
absolutely
they
should.
But they also absolutely should be.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
So
yeah, good point. You're making a good argument
so
for this, Chuck.
I just think that I know some of movie making is luck. I know some of it is talent and skill, and I know just some of it is just however the audience interprets what you've done. But I think all of those things come together in this dumbass movie. This movie that you can't show to your parents or your kids.
Right.
It's
But
like-
you can enjoy it.
Yeah, it's just if you are someone who is not a grandparent or a child, you can enjoy this film. And it doesn't make sense, but it also makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, clearly some grandparents can watch this because some grandparents made this. So, I mean,
sure.
but yeah, I mean, otherwise, like,
Yeah. I'm just thinking
if you have a dirtbag grandpa, then he might like it.
I'm thinking about like Would my mom watch this? Absolutely not. Would I let my kids watch this? No. But me, I'm putting this poster on my wall. This movie rules. So now I want to watch more Ed Hunt movies.
It speaks to me, and I'm ashamed of it.
Yes, exactly. This is my jam, and it sucks. So
I have plenty of movies like that.
Sure.
Well, plenty of movies and plenty of songs like that in my my jam
Well,
section.
yeah, I mean, what did we each pull out a different Enrique Iglesias song when we found out that's the guy that died?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I got Bailamos.
Yeah, I
Yours
was like, I could be your hero.
That was
baby.
the whitest that anyone has ever said Bailamos,
Oh, yes,
by the
that
way.
was
Mine was by Lamos.
Mine was Bailamos.
I think we should dance.
Bailamos.
Yes.
That was better.
At least I said I could be your hero, baby.
Yeah.
I tried to put a little sauce on it,
A little bit.
Yeah.
No, I just went straight
but
fucking
not,
Wisconsin.
offensive amount of
Right,
sauce.
right.
Just the right amount of sauce.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, come Christmas time, we're watching another Ed Hunt movie.
Oh, hell yeah. That'll be great. Hopefully there's less keywords in it.
Yes, there are.
Good.
I can vouch for that. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Man, well, that was fun.
It was a movie.
If you happen to have an excellent copy of this movie or your Ed Hunt, email us at email us at bmf@bmfcast.com or give us a call on the Garfield phone 910-5-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263. If you have money or you're Ed Hunt, you can also contribute to our Patreon at patreon.com/bmfcast. We just need a little bit of money every month to get through all the bills and all of the allegations and such.
what?
I haven't told you about the allegations.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, they're not any keyword stuff. It's just
okay.
mostly embezzlement.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh well,
And
then
they're
don't
mostly
give us money.
allegations.
He's just going to embezzle it.
Yeah. This isn't your not selling this very well.
Anyway,
Please send us money because BJ stole all ours.
right.
We'll change our password.
I know what all the passwords are. Yeah.
Holy shit!
I know every password.
What do we do?
Every password.
He's Mr. One Password over here.
Yeah. Every
Are
password.
you the one who
is-
texts me when I forget?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's me. I'm Gary from Twitter.
Man, you must get a lot of emails.
I do. It's a lot going on.
Alright.
Holy shit.
Anyway,
Can I not do the captcha thing when you send me my password?
no.
request that.
You still have to. I'm really unclear as to what is or isn't a traffic light. That's why I
What
have
about
to
chimneys?
embezzle all the money because of all the traffic tickets I have.
I see. I got
Traffic
chimneys
lights,
the
your
other
one
day.
weakness.
I was confused. I'd never had chimneys before.
Yeah, I'm also moonlighting as Santa Claus, and I need
Ah,
some.
you
Yeah,
need to know
I
what a
need
chimney is.
refresher.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can you tell me when we do the traffic light gotcha if we have to do the bottom part, the little tiny bottom
That's
section?
the gotcha part.
Oh, I
yeah.
see. Okay.
You mean like the pole?
Yeah.
Oh,
Any part of it. If any part is a traffic
Because
light.
it's not actually. There's no light in
no,
that.
no. Traffic
quadrant.
light is the box.
It's the
Everything
whole
else.
Okay,
is,
so
no.
I
whole
gotta click
assembly,
every box.
Chuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay.
you're the one trying
That's
to
why
get the
you keep-
discovery here, and I'm trying to tell you that is not the traffic light.
That's why you keep failing.
The traffic light is the box. The wires or the pole. That's all accoutrement.
Traffic light is the box.
Yeah. Anyway, really, I'm doing all this so I can just buy more LED lighting.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah. Anyway, patreon.com/bmfcast. Give us a couple bucks a month, and we'll give you a whole bunch of cool ass content.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
Cool. Wow. Let's get out of here, shall we?
Okay.
I'm Harlow.
I'm BJ,
I'm Chuck.
and this is BMFcast out. We'll see you next week, or will we?
We won't.
We won't because we won't be here next week.
It's
Goodbye.
Thanksgiving. Fuck you.
Yeah. Give us your money. Thanks. Thanks for giving us your money.
Yeah.
We're out of here. BJ embezzled it.
Yep.
So I have a question. I don't know if it should be on the live stream or not because it might be really dumb, and I'm just looking for opinions. No, I'm trying to
wanna
figure out
know.
if like it's dumb enough that I should share with the couple of people here or not. You know.
Okay, go ahead.
So
Keep talking while I tap on my
oh,
headphones.
Yeah, go ahead and tap on your headphones.
Mine's fucking up too.
Do you want to like unplug this thing? Maybe it needs to reboot. Maybe it just needs to.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's just like if I touch
Yeah.
it, my
it's
hearing
got to be those
goes.
adapters.
All right.
yeah.
Maybe we can find one of these that actually has a. Are all of our headphones actually 1/8 inch, or are any of us using 1/4 inch ones?
Yeah, all of ours are. Just,
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe I can find one that's just all 1/8 inch plugs, and not have to have the adapters.
Or we could just buy Maybe we should just buy a round of new headphones. Like,
Oh, I can hear what I'm saying now. That's better. Yeah.
cool.
I-
Yeah, we should probably just buy a round
Doesn't
of
make
headphones.
any sense that I
right?
mute when I.
I'll put some of the money that I embezzled back, and we'll look into.
Cool. Yeah, I'm
we'll
still
look
definitely.
into. I'm good. I'll tap on you, Chuck. Put it back in. I'll tap.
Well, people have to talk also.
Oh, sorry.
Hi,
Wiggle,
we
wiggle,
are
wiggle,
talking.
wiggle, wiggle,
It's
wiggle,
crackling.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle,
wiggle.
It's
Yeah.
clearly that thing. It's clearly
Yeah.
the connection.
Yeah.
If we could get one of those.
Maybe we can get some like ones with like titanium instead of gold, or whatever's better.
I think
conductive.
titanium is
Why don't we
less
get monster ones?
Brass.
because
bra-
I had
copper.
embezzled too much money for that.
Right, we can't afford.
Can we
monster
afford
ones.
copper? Copper's way up there, right?
Wow.
Copper? No, copper's not as good. Anyway,
what's your
let's
dumb
finish
thing?
this up.
Oh,
'Cause,
yeah. So I've been thinking too much about like you were saying like with all my free time I should stream video games because like apparently I didn't know you can actually make money doing that. I mean,
not much, but you can make.
well, I mean, compared to like how many hours you did that versus how many hours we've done this on YouTube and shit, I would say that was a very good source of income.
Comparatively, yes.
I just mean like you've streamed a total of like 20 hours of gaming and you got like $100 and it's like we've streamed 3,000 hours of BMFcast and we've gotten Patreon money but nothing from YouTube.
Well,
Yeah. So I'm just saying like
Well, it wasn't Twitch money. It was people had
directly.
subscribed
Okay.
to the
I don't know how
were
this shit works.
subscribers.
Anyway,
But yes, stream games.
monetarily I don't care. That's not why I'm. But I was like, what would be my thing? Like, what would be my shtick? I don't necessarily need a shtick
okay.
per se, but I mean, it was like I'm not. I don't think I could be like one of those people who's like, oh, I'm always going to play the latest game, and man, it's awesome, and that kind of bullshit. But I was like, what is it that I like to do in video games? And I realized that one of my favorite dumb things, and I don't know if anyone ever would find it entertaining, is making up achievements and going for them. My own dumb little like, I'm going to do this for no fucking reason whatsoever. It's
Yes.
completely stupid.
People love that.
Oh, do they? Okay. Yeah, and I even have I will say this off air so that it doesn't get stolen, but I mean, I have a name for it too that I would call
Great.
it, but yeah. Just because like I've done things like okay, so I was playing Burnout Paradise the other day.
Challenges. Yeah.
But not even that. It's just I just made up my own dumb things. Like I'm in Burnout Paradise the other day, and yes, and
It is a challenge.
okay, but not like issued by anybody. It's challenged by myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in Burnout Paradise, and I'm just like looking at the stat window, and I realize I have like a ridiculously long drift. Anyway, in that
Yeah.
game, it's like 5-something miles or something like that, where I was just drifting around the fucking streets or whatever for a really long time. But I was like, I should go and get a marathon's worth of drift. and it's in yards, so I was like, first I have to do the conversion and then try to perfectly stop at the exact
Oh
yardage.
Jesus!
Yeah.
People would absolutely watch you try and
Right.
fill out that over and over.
And,
again.
but the thing is, like, I would have one shot because if I went over, I would be over forever. I could never do a longest drift again.
oh, sure you could.
I
Oh
mean,
right,
I-
no,
I-
you would. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
right,
I'm
because,
saying like
yeah,
I have to start a new profile or something because like if I went over, I'd
make
be
that
fucked.
the condition.
Yeah.
you have to start a new profile.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
Or
I was
your
like,
shit's lost.
yeah, I was like, I can go 46,000 something yards in a drift. And I was sitting in the Wildcat Stadium, just fucking in the left field, just going whoa, like, full on like drifting for a while. And
People would
Yeah.
watch that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And talk along with it, of course.
Of course.
but because it's all dumb. filler.
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. People would definitely
All
watch that.
Well, I will share a thing or two more. But I know you want to go, but I will share
Yeah, I
a thing
gotta
or two
run.
more
I
off
gotta-
the air.
I gotta see a man about a rocket.
Okay. Bye, internet.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for stopping by on a Tuesday. No show on Thanksgiving because reasons.
Yeah.